How's it going? This is Link, and you're listening to Lynk-On Media Podcast. How's it going, listeners? Here to talk about the news about the cancellation of Batwoman, Batgirl, and all the fallout that's happening because of that. We have one of my good friends, Trey Walsh. How you doing, man?
What's going on, man? I'm doing pretty good.
All right, cool. What have you been up to these days, man?
So for anyone that doesn't know, me and Link went to the same college together when he was in Toronto for like a few years, and we both decided we want to be filmmakers because that's what this regular people decide to do when they want fucking money. So my life right now, like I sold out. I'm going corporate, so my life has just been a nasty reality check for people who want to do freelance. All the power to you, but as of for me right now, I am going corporate. So enjoy freedom while it is, guys, because freelancing for me fucking sucks.
All right, cool. What have you been doing now since you sold out and went corporate?
A lot more consistent, to be honest. As like nobody in this freaking podcast would know, but me and my girlfriend, we have been like doing business together for about almost 4 or 5 years at this point. And she has been going more in for anybody that no one really knows, but she is a circus performer and she does aerial trapeze for her full-time like position, and she's a teacher for her students. And
She's
me,
excellent. She's excellent at that.
yeah, she's amazing. Like she won nationals twice. Like she's phenomenal. But for me, like I submitted myself to two different real estate companies, and now I'm gonna be full-time, almost full-time working at Toyota. So hopefully like that will go through properly. But yeah, work is just, it's crazy, man. Like 2020 hit, I got a NASA reality check. And for people who want to make it in the film industry, just listen. Me and Link learned very, very, very quickly that the school doesn't mean shit if you don't have connections. So make all the connections you absolutely need and keep those, because if you don't have those, then you're basically fucking screwed.
That's right. It was all about connections.
Yeah, like we jumped in blind. Like Link went to schools before for film, but like I just my it was my first year going to college. And
Right.
yeah, and me and him, like we hit it off like really, really quick. Like we were good friends from the start. And the first thing we both realized is that we got into some of the classes and we looked at each other like we are fucked. So we
Because
were
we already knew we basically already you can look at the YouTube channel and just learn by yourself all
yeah.
that's in school now. Like back in the day, we didn't have YouTube. When I went to film school the first time, it was in the early 2000s. So I'm aging myself now. So I've never touched a film camera before. I edited on film. It was
Mhm.
still being used. We shot on 16 millimeter and all that, which is pretty cool. But 10 years later, all of that is pretty much done.
Yeah.
Everybody is shooting on these digital formats, and it was completely different from how it was. And that's a good thing about it. I was able to learn that. I was able to get like the digital cameras and put them in my hand and use those,
Yeah.
which was a great learning experience. But other than that, it's the same principles. How is the film industry in Toronto right now?
It's crazy. Like there is, I don't like the last few movies that I was on, because I'm a background actor for different things, but the last few movies I was on was Arnold Schwarzenegger's new movie and Adam Sandler's new movie. And I don't want to say in case I get sued or whatever, but they were filming mostly in Toronto. And from the last updates I got from my agent, there's a shit ton of like productions waiting to drop in Toronto, and Netflix is building their building, and so is TikTok. So as far as like filming and everything, Toronto's like becoming the next New York. Like it is crazy. Um yeah, I like everywhere you go downtown, you see two things. You see either a homeless person or a production company. That's the
Yeah.
most common thing right now. Like it's nuts. I know LA and New York are the primary candidates for like filming or whatever, but because they're becoming more expensive, Toronto is like the next hotspot for like filming everything. And it's exciting, but it's a lot harder to get jobs if you want to do acting or productions. Like it's nuts.
Because you'd have to join the union, right?
Yeah, I think I know a lot of people that are part of the union and they get paid really well, but if you don't get work, you do not get work.
That's
And
pretty much, yeah.
yeah, that's pretty much that's how you live basically if you want to get into the film world, whether it's productions or acting or whatever. It's a gig by gig basis. So for people who want to get into the film industry, it's a rewarding job once you have something solid. But to start off, you're basically a struggling artist, like any music or any artist, basically. You're just struggling for it. But it's worth it once you find the right people you mix with and you get the right opportunities.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And we both have done background in a lot of cases. That at a point that was like the only thing I was getting, because that was the only thing that they were offering during COVID time. COVID in
Yeah.
Toronto was just horrible. It was everything. It was like the day the earth stood still. Like it was,
Yeah.
nothing was opened. And during winter too, which was even worse. Like it was pretty brutal. But I've and I may have, with every job you take at least two of those COVID tests, where they have to
Yeah.
take the cotton swab and hit the back of the throat through your nose, and it's just,
Yeah. It became
man,
too much.
yeah, it was a lot. I got a nosebleed. I got the worst nosebleed.
Really?
Yeah, it was like my throat was bleeding, and then
Whoa.
it just came through my nose like afterwards, because I was tasting like blood in my mouth. Like, what is this metal taste? I don't understand. And then I looked, and it was just blood coming from it was a postnasal drip of blood.
Like it happened while like the COVID people were doing it?
This was after.
Oh
This
my
was
God.
after I got home.
I think you should have called the COVID people like, hey, one of your people gave me a fucking nosebleed. Like, fix this. Like, why am I getting nosebleeds from this?
I don't know. It just happened that one time, and I was fine afterwards. But it was brutal. And that was during the winter. My throat
Yeah.
was really dry, so at some point I was going to get a nosebleed.
So it's probably a
Anyways,
combination of things, probably.
yeah, and I had to. I think we had to go to Mississauga at the time.
Yeah.
At the airport, there was a place by the airport where they were meeting and all that sort of thing.
I think at one
Yeah.
point, because me and Link were on a production and we were both on the same set, but we weren't on different days. But anyway, the COVID people at this jail cell, like when we were filming, were so strict that we were playing prison basketball. And keep in mind, this is in the middle of July heat, like heat wave, like weather. We're playing basketball and we had our
Yeah.
masks off while we're shooting. But for some reason, these stupid ass COVID people comes up to us and say, okay, camera's off, put your mask back on. When I tell you, I have never seen so many Jamaicans yell at this COVID person saying, are you stupid? Why are you want us to wear a mask while we're playing basketball in the heat? Are you like,
I never understood it. I never understood.
I never got it.
Us.
If you look at the logistics here, everyone took a COVID test. Everyone tested negative. If you were positive, you were kicked off set. So which means
You
everyone
wouldn't even get on set.
Exactly. So everyone
You wouldn't
there
even
is
get on set.
negative. If
Yeah.
we sat with no mask on for 5 hours, do you really think that out of the hundreds of negative people on set, that one of us is going to get COVID? Unless you were kissing donkey ass the 2 hours before that, I don't know what I could tell you. But anyway, the whole mask thing, like it's loosening up a smidge. Hopefully, like I don't know, but all I'm gonna say is like wearing a mask is only appropriate during the winter because that keeps my face warm. That's it. Every other season, shut the fuck up. I'm not wearing a mask anymore.
Yeah. Well, I'm in Orange County, and they're like, nope, we're not doing it. We're not doing the masks thing. There's certain servers that still do it. some spots down in LA maybe, but I think we're America's just done with it. They're just like,
Yeah.
look, whatever. I think we're over that hump. At this point, we're just living with it. We're
Yeah.
just living with it, and you know, we've survived. We're
Yeah.
pushing through. What isn't surviving is a lot of projects under Warner Brothers right now. David Zaslav,
Hmm.
who is my my idol right now. He's just like, he just takes over this company and he's like, hold on here. None of this stuff is making money. Like none of this. You know what? We're cutting out, we're cutting everything. We're cutting
Yeah.
all of this. This none of this is making money. It's making us look bad. What were you guys doing? And what he's saying about DC especially, like that's the interesting part about it.
Yeah.
He's actually coming from a place where he actually has reverence for this brand. He's basically saying, well, Batgirl, we can't put that out because this is a brand that's been around for 100 years.
Yeah.
Why are we just stooping so low to just have something released on HBO Max?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was the whole model of what they were doing beforehand.
Yeah.
They just wanted to focus on streaming,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be that.
Right.
I think Paramount was stopping all their productions on big screens for a while. That was said before. I don't know what they're doing now, but
Yes.
everybody was going for streaming.
Yeah.
But right now, I think since everything's opening up, I think the bubble for streaming has burst.
Yes.
Because I mean, the Netflix has been suffering. They lost like how many subs at this point? What's your thinking on that?
I think that streaming right now is like the juggernaut for like consuming new content. Like when the pandemic was going on, like Disney Plus, like Netflix, and all, like they were skyrocketing through new subscribers and everything. But
Right.
I think what happened with Batgirl was they were doing the same thing that some companies do. They were cleaning house. However, like getting rid of Batgirl to me just seemed like kind of out of left field. Like it was done, it was ready to go. Like it seemed like I remember Batgirl being talked about and it's like oh no, it's filming and it's almost done. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm curious. I want to see it. I didn't care about like who was in it. I just genuinely wanted to see it. And then I get news, oh, it's canceled. And I found out why. And it was just like they just didn't want to release it. And I'm like there can't be just simply it's you didn't want to release it. There had to be something else. But as far as I know, it's just like they did not believe it was good enough to be released, which does not make a whole lot of sense to me, given how they've released Batwoman, they've
Birds of Prey and
Birds of Prey, and they still continue with the Flash TV show, given how garbage the last few seasons have been. So for you to tell me that you can, and also Gotham Knights, they still want to release that after that god awful trailer. Which
I thought that would have been on the chopping block. Like that should have been.
Oh my god. I'll get into that later. But as far as like Batgirl, I'm surprised. But as far as like the streaming platforms, like Netflix, I'm not surprised at all because Netflix just does not have anything. They have originals, they have like stuff they bring back sometimes, but as far like I go to Disney Plus or Amazon Prime more than I go to Netflix. So when my subscription was up, it was up. It was like I just don't find anything on Netflix interesting. I have all my favorites on Disney Plus and Amazon Prime now.
I mean, Netflix kind of took a hit when everybody started taking back their stuff. I mean, The Office was really big on Netflix. The Marvel Disney the Marvel shows the Marvel Netflix shows, some other ones that I can't even remember right now, but everybody just decided they were going to do their own streaming thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, how are these individual people doing right now? How are these companies doing right now?
Yeah.
That's my thing. I mean, do they release their numbers? I mean, what's the numbers for Peacock? What's the numbers for what's that other one? Paramount Plus. Because of Batgirl being canceled.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been seeing that there are certain people that point out that it may be a racial issue, because they canceled that, but they're not canceling Ezra Miller's Flash.
Right.
Which is very problematic right now, because right now he's all over the world doing craziness, punching, strangling women, grooming young girls, kidnapping them. I think he has a place like Waco where he has a whole commune or something. I don't know.
He has a fucking warrant out for him, for the love of God.
Like he's bringing down the aliens or something. Like he's into some weird effing stuff. Allegedly,
Yeah,
you know.
I should laugh at it, but like, can we like? Oh my God. I don't know, man. I don't. Okay. With the grand scheme of things, do I think the Batgirl thing is a race issue? I don't think so. If it is, then I give up, WB. Like, I fucking give up. Like, you have no fucking idea what you're doing. But if you can't cancel, correct me if I'm wrong. Did they say they're going to reshoot Amber Heard's stuff at all?
Last I heard, they were going to minimize her role.
Okay, so if they did that, but they're not going to get rid of like Ezra, maybe Ezra Miller's is a little bit more complicated because he's the primary actor for the Flash movie.
Not only is he the lead, but there's also two of them, because it's a time travel thing, and he meets himself. Christ. There's an alternate Ezra Miller. So
so yeah, you know what? For people that yes, I believe the Flash should be canceled. Like the movie, like should not be released because Ezra Miller's a fucking idiot. However, from a person who's been in film and understands what the fuck like happens, I understand if productions do not want to reshoot it because it would cost them millions. Like it's insane if they want to reshoot the entire thing. Because imagine this. Imagine if they shot Hancock and Will Smith's incident happened this year, and they said, we have to reshoot everything and recast Will Smith. That will cost millions to the production company. It will be fucking insane to do that.
I would say that's a different thing, because he only slapped a guy, which is bad. It's slapping a guy on TV, but it doesn't equate like kidnapping, allegedly grooming, allegedly.
It's definitely not the same thing. But
it's definitely not the same thing.
It's the closest thing I could think of to this certain like fuck up, I guess.
And as the Amber Heard thing, it's just like I know for a fact people did not like Amber Heard even from before the trial. Like I think once they fired Johnny Depp and everything, they didn't even mention the whole Ezra Miller thing. I remember around I don't know if it was around the same time, but when Ezra Miller first choked I believe he choked a pregnant woman or something like that. Like there's video of him doing that.
Yes.
And they didn't do anything then. Like Warner Brothers were silent. So I don't understand and that was like the previous regime.
Right.
So why did they not act on that? That is my thing. That's something you needed to, put to bed like right away.
For them to for him to not be fired right away.
To not really say anything.
Yeah, to not even say anything. But yet Johnny Depp gets fired from Disney literally right after Fantastic Beasts was being during when Fantastic Beasts was filmed, and get recast by Mads Mikkelsen like the same year.
Right.
But they don't do the same thing with Johnny Depp. That's my only argument with it. unless Disney comes up with a really good fucking excuse as to why that didn't happen, I just don't see the difference in, like, if an alleged, keyword alleged, abuser gets fired, but a confirmed abuser, and he's proven to do that, but he's not fired. Like, where does the math not equal here?
Right. Disney. Well, Disney didn't fire him from
Fantastic
the
Beasts.
Fantastic Beast. That's Warner Brothers. But
Right, right, right.
Disney also went ahead and said they were going to do Pirates with
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie for
Yes.
some reason. I'm
Right.
two minds about the whole Batgirl situation. Like, for
Mhm.
one, if you're working on a film, to be a filmmaker working on a film, even though it's definitely, it's a big job for these two directors. They're the directors who did Bad Boys 3 and a couple episodes of Miss Marvel.
Right.
And they're good guys. Like, I've seen them in interviews. They're very, they're filmmakers who love making films.
Right.
And it could be bad. I think if it is bad, it's definitely because of the script. I don't think it would be because of them, because I think they're really good at what they do. And imagine you're doing a Bat person movie, Bat movie, in a comic book character in the DC universe, a great character. You got J.K. Simmons, you got Michael Keaton, and I don't understand why they're in the same universe, because I mean, that's Ben Affleck's Commissioner Gordon, not Michael Keaton's Commissioner Gordon. So whatever.
Right.
So, and then you have Leslie Grace, who's a newcomer. I don't know what she has done. I mean, is she like a CW actor or something?
I know nothing about her.
I have no idea, but she's beautiful. I'll say that. And this was a big role for her. This was like one of her, and now she's not going to do it. And I feel bad for her specifically. And as Firefly, the villain in this, it was going to be Brendan Fraser. So Brendan Fraser was coming back.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Oh shit! So I didn't even know. Oh my God! Now I'm so mad.
Yeah. So you have all these elements. And they still, for reasons that they have, they're just like, we're taking this out. Batgirl was only like a part of this whole reshuffle from the previous regime,
right?
Where the Flash was going to reset everything, completely take out the Snyderverse,
right,
and then replace it with this new, more diverse DC where Supergirl is Latina, Batgirl has replaced Batman, and so on and so forth. It was all going to be part of that whole thing. Now, because they want to take DC into a whole new thing, what's the point of even bringing out Batgirl if it doesn't even follow your plan?
Right.
You know what I mean?
So do you think that they got rid of it for, like, quote unquote, their timeline?
I think so. I think they're going to start from scratch. So Zazlav is basically saying he has a 10-year plan. So what does that 10-year plan entail?
So, okay. So let's play devil's advocate for a second. So if that's the plan, why not just say Batgirl is its own separate thing? Kind of like how they do alternate versions of comic books.
It could be like in its own pocket thing, like how Joker is right now and the Batman. They could just do it. They could just release it really quietly, just we're just going to dump it, whatever.
Yeah.
What is interesting about it is that before Batgirl even came out, I don't think anybody cared to see that. Like, was that on anybody's radar? Was that the one thing everybody wanted to see?
I know people heard about it, but did I hear any talk about it online or like it was within my group? No. It was definitely on my radar to watch out for, but as far as like excitement and like anticipation for it, it was not up there.
No, nobody cares. Nobody cared about it. Nobody wanted to see it.
No,
if it came out and if they make that Supergirl movie and that comes out, it's not going to have the eyeballs on it as it'll be worse than maybe Suicide Squad the first time they came out with it, or Birds of Prey or something like that. or Wonder Woman, it's not going to have that, you know, that much excitement behind it.
So for
People don't
people,
want to see it.
okay, because here's where it's gonna get funny. People are gonna make the argument it's because they all have female leads, which first of all, for like that's complete horse shit. Because me and Link have watched films where the female leads carried fucking movies where the main actor was a guy. So for anyone to say like it's shit, you think it's shit because it's gonna be with a female, shut the fuck up. It's nothing to do with that. Because Batwoman could have been phenomenal if they got a competent actor with a competent fucking script. There's no way you can convince me they were otherwise.
Yeah, that was a show that needed writers. And the problem with those TV shows is that like the Flash and Arrow and all those CW shows, they're just basically there to fill in time. I mean,
Yes.
that are you telling me that the Flash, right? His villain is a guy with a freeze gun, and it takes like an entire hour for Flash to catch Captain Cold.
Like we're talking about the Flash here.
The Flash,
not Arrow, the Flash. Like
now the Arrow makes a little bit more sense because it does fit the procedural mold of an hour this week, an hour next week, an hour, and a new villain every once in a while.
Yes,
it's a vigilante show. It can work like that.
Yes,
Batwoman could probably have worked, but it was just it's just very cheaply made stuff that they just need to churn out, and that's what I feel Batgirl falls into. It just has the stench of, yeah, we just need something on this platform. We just need, whatever. What do we got? What do we got? Blue Beetle. Let's throw that on there. Yeah, whatever. Supergirl. And all the while, they haven't even touched Henry Cavill Superman. Like for some reason, they don't want Henry Cavill Superman. I don't get it. I don't get why.
I never followed that story as to why. Like I know they are having a shit ton of problems like with like people demanding him to come back as Superman because okay, people, I understand why some people did not like Man of Steel, but Henry Cavill was the most entertaining and convincing Superman I have seen in my years of watching Superman films. Like he was amazing in Man of Steel. He was great in Justice League for what the fuck it was. And he like Batman vs. Superman was shit, but he was still a good Superman in that movie.
Yeah, that movie, it's such a weird thing because I think the elements in that movie are great. Yeah. It's just that the script was not like, what was that? What were they trying to say with that? It was just overly convoluted. And I find a lot of the Batman movies, like ever since Dark Knight Rises, Batman movies had to have this very complicated plot where, all of these things are going on, and it didn't work. Well, it didn't work with Dark Knight Rises. I like that movie, but it didn't work there. But it also didn't work for Batman v Superman.
Nope.
Because it was just busy work. Everybody was just doing stuff for this plot that wasn't congealing. Like nothing came together. What we came there for Batman and Superman disagreeing, relating, butting heads, all that. That only happens in like 3 scenes throughout this entire film.
Yeah.
3 scenes.
Okay, for people that might not know, there's a comic book and an animation movie about Batman retiring, coming out of retirement, and when he came out of retirement, the government went after him, and Superman at the time worked for the government, so he was forced to go after Batman. So Dark Knight Returns. Dark Knight Returns. Yes. Yeah. And it's for anyone, watch it, read it, whatever. It's a phenomenal story. But the point is that people were in love with that story because it gave Batman and Superman a natural reason to fight. They had a disagreement on how the world works because the world moved on without superheroes. Batman came out of retirement because it's Batman. He's a complicated person with a very fucked up mind. So he decided to come back as Batman and destroy enemies. So when people saw that and they were making a Batman v Superman film, the anticipation was sky fucking high.
Right.
But at certain points when me and Link, when we first talked about it, we were like, yes, we were so anticipated for that movie. When we watched it, we were like, what the hell is this?
The interesting thing about this whole Batgirl situation is that because it's not coming out, because it was canceled, everybody's talking about it. Now there is a fever for Batgirl. If they release that movie now, I bet everybody will fucking go and watch it just to see what it was about. This situation reminds me of the time where X-Men Dark Phoenix was coming out. It was still being made during the time Fox was merging with Disney.
Right.
Disney, the acquisition of Fox by Disney. So they were wondering, I think there was a question mark, will this movie ever see the light of day? Because we all knew they were making it. We didn't see any trailers, we didn't see anything, but we heard that it was going to be bad. Now, they actually released it. They released it, and then they released New Mutants. Both those movies weren't good. Like, they weren't top tier.
No.
That's stuff you just throw on like a streaming service or whatever and then forget about it.
Yeah.
That's the type of situation I think this is, where they have this movie in their lap. They don't know what to do with it because they're seeing that there's a plan they could do. And this might hurt the plan. So what in this movie could be so bad that someone would call it irredeemable? What is the most irredeemable thing you can do in a Batgirl movie where Michael Keaton is the Batman? What do you think?
I don't understand. Like, if Michael Keaton was the Batman in this, like, you probably had something going on, because Michael Keaton is not like a actor who just accepts anything. He accepted the role of this for a reason. So if you were to tell me like there's something wrong with this movie, that Michael Keaton was on board and then it just got shut down, you can't convince me that it was something in production. It had to be something that was internal behind the scenes. Because
so you don't think there was anything in the script that would have caused the people watching it to be like, oh my God, we can't put this out?
I don't think so.
You think it's not that?
Yeah, because I don't know if you remember, but Michael Keaton, like when he did his first Batman, he was called to do the second one, but he refused it because he looked at the script and went, what the fuck is this? I don't want to be involved in this. Like, this is garbage.
It was the third one. It was Batman Forever, because he thought Batman Forever, the direction they were going into, wasn't in keeping with Tim Burton's.
Exactly. So if Michael could just look at the Batgirl script and say, no, this is dog shit and I'm not going to be in it, but he said yes to it. So there had to be something in the script that said, I like this, I want to be part of it. And he's not a cheap actor. So the negotiations for that show had to be really fucking hard for him to get on a show. For all intents and purposes, a lot of people did not.
Batgirl is a movie. It's not a show, is it?
Oh, was it a show or a movie?
No, it was a movie.
It's a movie?
Yeah.
Okay, it's my mistake. So
yeah,
if people like, there are a lot of people did not want to, like, was not looking out for it, blah blah blah. But for something like this to get canceled, and for a show like Gotham Knights to still be continuing after that god awful trailer, it had to be behind the scenes, because there's no way they will release that but cancel Batgirl. Like, something doesn't make sense here.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. I was thinking that maybe they killed Michael Keaton in the movie. I know that's a rumor going around where they do a Last Jedi on it, where he does, die in that movie, and then Batgirl kind of takes over.
I'm not mad at that concept because it's been done before, just with like Nightwing, Red Hood, or whatever. It's been done before. But if they
good point.
If they executed it properly, I wouldn't be mad at it. It was the same concept for Gotham Knights. I keep coming back to it, but that's the same concept. Batman dies, and his son, which I don't remember his fucking name because I don't care, goes on the run from the law because they believe he killed Batman for God knows why, and he just goes on the run and eventually becomes the new Batman. like becoming Batman is not a new concept for the DC universe. So
Right.
this concept had to be really good for Michael Keaton to say, yeah, I like it, because Michael Keaton is a character who loves Batman. Like, he studies all the new Batman stuff, and he praised Robert Pattinson's interpretation of it. Like, he loved it. So for him to say, yes, you can kill my Batman character for this Batgirl to take over, he would have had to say yes to this.
All we can do is speculate at this point, since
Mhm.
we won't know until somebody leaks it.
What do you think happened?
So I think it's a power move, man. Like, I think Zazlav is coming through, and he's like, I
Cleaning
also think
house?
it's I
Cleaning
also think
house?
it, yeah, definitely cleaning house, definitely a power move. I mean, what is the bane of all the franchises right now? What do you think? Because I got to point to the elephant in the room. Maybe it was too woke.
I don't know if you want to go there, but okay. Yeah, let's talk about it.
So, okay, so people already have an issue with the fact that Batgirl was a redhead.
Yes.
Barbara Gordon, Commissioner Gordon's daughter.
Yes.
Now she's, I believe she's Latina.
Yes.
She's definitely like the race change wasn't like sort of my issue, but it depends on who's writing it,
Mm-hmm.
because I've seen a lot of these projects be written by people who choose agenda over storytelling.
Yes.
Who, like, for example, Halo, where the creators of Halo, that TV show, didn't
Mm-hmm.
even want to play the game, or they want to change certain things so that it fits, their sort of thing. We're going to take Jimmy Olsen and make him a
Mm-hmm.
broad back, muscular black guy.
Yeah.
Because that's, we can't have these redheads, man. Like, no, fuck all that.
Yes.
So that's sort of my thing, where, okay, like there's certain race changes that work. Nick Fury, Starbuck from Battlestar Galactica, that's a gender change. She was previously a man, now she's a woman, but that character is awesome, so you can't deny it. And
Right.
The rumors are Juan Carlo Esposito, he
Mm-hmm.
wants to be Professor X, which I think I'm okay with that. I think
I'm great with that.
yeah. So I'm sort of in the mindset of, I don't really want I don't I don't always agree with race changes, I
Yep.
always
I
kind
agree.
of question, okay, why are you making this change? Are you making it because it's the good of, are you trying to get this particular actor, or you're just trying to do a diversity, like every project is required to have a certain level of diversity now.
Yes.
So we have this property, we're gonna change it
Mm-hmm.
so that it's new. But these properties are from the 80s, 70s, 60s. If you're going to make these changes, why even bring them back? Like, why even have, if you have a property like James Bond,
Yep.
and your mindset is the character of James Bond is misogynist and, British imperialistic and all of these things,
Mm-hmm.
why would you work on that? Obviously it's
Right.
because you want to work,
Yep.
but it's not James Bond is James Bond. I mean, my thing is, if it's not, if that property doesn't fit your beliefs, don't do it. Leave it, leave it in the past.
Yeah.
That's my thing. That's
Mm-hmm.
so I believe that Zazlav is putting an end to all of that woke stuff that DC has been doing,
Yeah.
because it doesn't make money.
I think it brings controversy as well. Like, it brings like unwanted attention from certain woke activists that will say they want to watch the movie, but the sales don't reflect that. I think a prime example was when it's a different concept altogether, but when Charlie's Angels was being promoted, there were a bunch of feminists and woke activists that said like this movie was going to be the best and blah blah blah, but the sales did not reflect that.
It didn't reflect
So
it, right?
it did not at all. And in all honesty, the movie was not terrible, but it was not great. So for people to say like you didn't watch it because it was females, like no, because it was fucking garbage. But as far as like race swapping characters, I think it's appropriate if you believe like let's say prime example is if they wanted to race swap Doctor Doom. I would not be mad at it if it was an amazing actor above some of the white actors. So like hypothetical, like I don't know who's playing Doctor Doom in the future or whatever. Let's do a hypothetical. Let's say for argument's sake that they wanted to get Chris Evans. I'm just pointing them out there, what the fuck ever. If they wanted to get Chris Evans to play Doctor Doom and he did not pass the same requirements as someone like Michael B. Jordan. You know what I mean? Like, so if they race swapped him for the simple concept that Michael B. Jordan fit all the requirements, he got all of our requirements down, I wouldn't be mad at it. But for studios to do race swap for the sake of we want to be different and giving Black people opportunities, it creates the wrong message because it's a weird thing because like as Black people, we did not want to be forced into movies just because you wanted to have the Black token so you can look favorably upon a white studio audience.
Right, to win woke points on Twitter for people who don't spend the money. Like they will champion, something like Eternals, but they won't go see it. Like they won't go see it as a compared to a Marvel fan who would go to see a Chris Evans Captain America movie.
Yes.
Okay, let's say you and I, we both have Caribbean heritage.
Right.
Let's say there's Marvel just came up with this new character. He's Black. He's from Jamaica. He eats things like oxtail and jerk chicken and doubles and all this. And then he drinks Red Stripe, and we meet his parents. We see how he lives. We see his neighborhood and everything. And then he finds out that he has special abilities, and he has to learn these abilities and goes through all the trials and tribulations of this sort of thing. And it's a pretty okay story.
Right.
Now, let's say you see the trailer with all of these images in it, and then you see the title card at the end, Doctor Strange 2, the new Doctor Strange. How would you feel? How would you feel about that?
I wouldn't even like entertain. I would think it's a parody, first of all. Like for all intents and purposes, like if you make a Caribbean Doctor Strange, that's a parody. Like you okay. Like I'm not gonna lie, a Jamaican Doctor Strange sounds fucking awesome. As like it sounds awesome, but as like a movie, like something that you put millions of dollars into, I'm not watching that. I'm just not watching it.
What, you wouldn't feel like represented? You wouldn't feel seen? I mean, come on. What if it was a Jamaican Ant-Man? A Bayesian Ant-Man. What about that?
A Bayesian Ant-Man?
Or a Trinidadian wasp.
See, now all of this, like when you say it, it just sounds like parody shit. Because
it sounds like a joke, right?
Yeah, yes, because you know what the studios are gonna do with that certain thing. Like, okay, I'm a huge fucking nerd, but off the top of my head, I can't think of any Caribbean, like our Caribbean superheroes, realistically. I can think of like a lot of Black superheroes, but like they did not have like a lot of stimulized culture other than Storm from X-Men because she's African, along with Black Panther, the same thing. But I just like, unless like you make something similar to like what Bushmaster was in Luke Cage, I don't think you can make the same thing because they're not going to take it as seriously. Because one, either they don't know, or two, like they take the soft things from it and not the actual struggle from being from the Caribbean. It just won't work. But you know what? I don't care. I want to see a Jamaican Doctor Strange now because that shit it actually sounds really fucking funny, and I want to see that shit.
But that's my point, though. We won't take it as seriously because he's not his own character. He's just, if he's a Doctor Strange, then we'll just be comparing him to the other Doctor Strange. We won't think of him as his own person, and that's kind of how I felt about Miss Marvel. Like, that character could have gone so much further if they called it a different name,
right?
Because we've already have like how many Captain Marvels? She's just another one of those, you know what I'm saying? So my thing is, if you want to, like, Shang-Chi, I think is probably the best example of representation, but doing its own thing. There has never been another Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi is his own thing. He brings in his own heritage, his own storyline. I think, like, I have problems with that movie narratively, but in terms of bringing something new, adding something to this already convoluted, cumbersome thing, it does feel new. It does feel like a new thing, and the representation is there. So, but if there was a Jamaican superhero, I'd want that person to be something new and not the Trinidadian Captain America or the Jamaican Doctor Strange or something like that, because we're just gonna lampoon that shit. We're just gonna make fun of it.
It's not gonna be a good representation unless they do something like Shang-Chi. And my girlfriend, who is Asian, she felt like the representation was accurate, because how, like, in movies, like, they do Asian representation, but it's grossly exaggerated. So for her, who grew up with traditional parents, watched the movie and said this was great and they got a lot of things accurate, that speaks volumes to what they actually went with the movie.
So, and that, to me, I think if you were able to take those little details and go with it, that's why I think Miss Marvel was really good, because I know basically Miss Marvel is Pakistani Muslim, and like, her heritage and her story deals with the partition of India and Pakistan, and I know a little bit about that history and the people who lived through that and everything. I think that show details that situation pretty well. Pretty well. There's other problems with the story. There's major problems with that show. But when it comes to that, when it comes to the family, the parents, the brother, her brother, that relationship, all of that is done extremely well. But when you have representation like Batwoman, that is just, it feels so manipulative and manufactured and fake. You know what I mean? Like, whenever they try to handle big themes like racism and racial profiling and cops and stuff like that, they lay it on so thick, and they do it so cheesy, like, and you're just like, cringe. It's just cringe inducing. It kills your soul, because these are topics that you want an actual writer to take a stab of. But these people are just, they're not good at it, and they're not good at the superhero stuff either. So it's
like, if you can't write a superhero movie, like, don't put social justice stuff on top of that. Like, it just,
because then what are we watching? Why are we watching? And I think Miss Marvel, although it does some good things, I think it also has that problem of not having a proper villain, not having the story make somewhat of sense, like her powers, how they work. all of these things, like Superman, Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man was able to do so much in its first hour. You knew how he got his powers. You knew who Peter Parker was. You knew his his family. You knew his best friend. They set up the villain. They set up how the villain got his abilities. They set up how he got his abilities. All of that was done first hour. In Miss Marvel, it takes like 2 episodes, and there's just so much meandering, and we never get an idea of what we're watching until like the 3rd episode. So that, I think, that's why the streaming thing doesn't work in terms of like how the Disney Marvel stuff, and we'll talk more of that later. But how they have it, they just sort of stretch everything out, and it's just trying to fill a time slot, rather than making something cohesive and with some merit. Better than having diversity in front of the camera, we need diversity behind the camera. We need diversity in the creative space, because they're the ones who will make the diversity work.
I think Black Panther is the primary fundamental example of that. I forget for the life of me. I'm trying to remember the director's name.
Ryan Coogler.
Thank you, Ryan. Like, he did a phenomenal job with directing Black Panther. There were problems with it, but overall, when it comes to heritage, representation, comic book accuracy, all that, it fit right under Black Panther. It met all the categories. I think when it comes to like having like people behind the scenes, like to actually get proper representation, it can work, but I think it might have the same problem as the Barack Obama effect. Like, we might say like, we have a Black person representing us now, but they still have the white agenda in their ear. So I think like they'll still have like, I think we would have a say, but I think like as far as like change and actual like change to cinema, when it comes to like stop putting us for representation tokens and actually just giving us like a fucking original Black story, I don't know. Like, I just don't see it anytime soon, as long as we still have the fucking woke blue-haired people just asking for representation for the sake of representation. Like, it's just the weirdest Twilight fuck. Like, it's weird.
Like, this is funny. I posted on my Instagram a picture of all the latest Marvel characters that they just introduced. And one of it was like the bad CGI job from Thor 4, where with Heimdall's son.
Yes.
And it was She-Hulk and America Chavez and all these sort of things. And it was all in a poster, and it said New Avengers. And then I put a text saying, a caption saying, the future of Marvel looks so bright. And obviously it's sarcasm.
Yes.
But one of the people who follow me didn't get the sarcasm, and she's like, yes, and diverse. And I'm like, oh no.
Oh no.
You thought I was serious.
Oh God.
Oh
God.
So and she was a white lady.
Of course she was. Of course she was. When it comes to superheroes, I understand that there are people that want to see diversity because you want to see it. Yes, I understand. But you can't support every single thing that comes out just because it's not white. Okay, there are Black people that did not like Luke Cage, that did not like Black Panther. Like, that exists because people have opinions about it. Stop thinking that just because it's different, it means that you can support it. You're allowed to dislike something. Dislike and hate are very distinct things. Hate means you just don't fucking like it because you think it's the worst thing ever.
Right. And to piggyback off of that point, I am not a racist or a sexist because I didn't like Reva from the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Okay.
Oh my God.
Reva Riva is a Power Ranger villain at best. There are some parts in Obi-Wan where I thought Riva was going to make her monster grow. Okay. That is where, okay, people need to really understand this. People are like, they say, oh man, you're so sexist and this and that. No, Riva's terrible. And the thing is, Riva's not even the worst part about that show. I think Sung Kang, Han from the Fast and Furious movies, he's worse.
Yes.
He's awful in that show.
Yes.
And I don't blame the actors. I blame them a little bit, but it's Deborah Chow. She's the director. Yes. She allowed her villains to look like Power Ranger villains. Yes. They are terrible. This is it feels like a Saturday morning cartoon show.
It does.
And we never seen that in Star Wars. They weren't like, the villains were very capable, very quiet, very, they talk like this, and they have gravitas.
You have spoken to Lord Vader.
Yeah.
It's okay. Here's what people don't understand. Me and Link have had conversations like this in college. We do not despise the actors for the role they have been given. It is the director's responsibility to make them look good. Riva was a terrible character. Now, the actress that plays her, do I think she's a bad actress? No. I've seen her in other stuff. She's phenomenal. I think they gave her a character that she did not know how to work with. It is not her.
Great. She was great in Ambulance, and she's great in the what was it, the Queen's Gambit?
Yes. That's exactly it.
Yeah. A lot of people like her in that.
She is great. She's a great actress. Star Wars fans, they're passionate. I get that. But for everyone to go on Instagram and social and cyber bully these actors for a job that they were given, you virgins need to shut the fuck up, because it's not their fault. That's what you people don't understand.
But I don't think a lot of people do that, though. I don't think a lot of fans out there are out there saying, oh, this Black woman needs to stay out of my Star Wars, because that would be stupid. Because guess what? Vader, Lando Calrissian, Sam Jackson, they were Black, they were in Star Wars. So whoever is doing that.
But social media didn't exist back then when that was released.
But is anybody going to say Sam Jackson? We don't want Sam Jackson in Star Wars. No one's ever going to say that.
No, because Star Wars was original. Like that. Like, okay, maybe I'm getting a little bit off track, but like when Star Wars around that time was released, it wasn't as big as a problem for a Black character to be in a science fiction fucking movie. Now that we have a lot of Star Wars content, and that people have a lot more opinions and they're not educated enough, they believe that their opinion makes the whole lick of sense. So for people, I've seen comments on, do you remember when The Last Jedi was released and the Asian woman who played Finn's partner was...
Yeah, it was Rose.
Yes, she was the actress, I can't remember her name, forgive me, but she was cyberbullied to the point where she deactivated her Instagram account because she could not make one post without somebody heckling her or just making the most outrageous comments about her role in The Last Jedi.
I remember seeing some of that. Yes. But was that as heightened? Because I know people, like, they take these things and they heighten it.
Yes.
To make it seem like the fan base is racist.
Yes.
But I just think it's a very small few of people who do these sort of things. I don't think the fan base as a whole is toxic. I don't believe it, because I think there's definitely a passion there. There's definitely a white hot thing of, oh, if you do this one thing wrong, I have to like go in on you.
Yeah,
I get that, but I mean, nobody was really calling it toxic back in the day when they were bullying Jake Lloyd, like, you know what I mean? So it's from that same thing. I think there are fans that do need to leave those people alone, and they go after them and they make their life a living hell. I mean, Ahmed Best wanted to, kill himself. That's I mean, that's really hard. And Ahmed Best got it even worse because he was Jar Jar Binks, and everybody, we're talking about media, fans, people, everybody was talking shit on Jar Jar Binks. He did not have it that well. I think I don't think the Reva actress or Kelly Marie Tran had it as bad as Ahmed Best. I think Ahmed Best definitely, like, he felt it. Like, everybody was on Jar Jar Binks. Everybody hated him.
Yeah, I guess you can say that because, like, I think Hayden Christensen had the same problem when Revenge of the Sith was out too. Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah,
remember.
definitely
Yeah,
Attack of the Clones. Like, people really laid in on him on Attack of the Clones.
yeah, people
And
want to kill.
I will take responsibility too. I remember when In Sync was going to be in the background of one of the big battles in Attack of the Clones, and I got wind of this in the news, and I was furious. I was like, "What is George Lucas doing? He's ruining everything." Da 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 da. But it's not that big of a deal.
It's not.
I over exaggerated it because I'm a fan, because I'm passionate.
Yes,
And it gets away from us sometimes. But
the child actress that played young Leia, she wasn't as prominent to cyberbullying, but she still got like that one or two people that were like shitting on her acting talents, whatever. And I'm like I understand like people disliking it, but it's a child, for God's sakes. Like, come on, it's a child.
yeah, I mean, I liked the actress. I thought the actress was fine. She definitely hits her marks. She said the dialogue. I mean, that's basically what you need a child actress to do. She didn't write those terrible scenes where she had to run through the bush and be chased. Like, that's not her fault. She just did it, and she did exactly what she was told. Same thing with the Reva actress. Same thing with Anakin Skywalker, the older one and the younger one, Jake Lloyd. They did exactly what was required of them, and they got a lot of shit for it.
Yep.
And that is sort of the problem with Star Wars, but I think we should definitely lay the blame with the writers and directors that needed to pad out their show so that it could fit 5 or 6 episodes. That's basically what happened.
You give me an Obi-Wan Kenobi show and you give me that, I was severely disappointed. I was livid of what the fuck I saw.
All right, since we're here, let's talk a little bit about Andor. What are your thoughts? You've seen the trailers and stuff. What do you think?
I to be honest, I haven't seen it just because I've been so busy. I really haven't seen it. I swear I haven't seen it.
Okay. Well, when you get off, check out the trailer. I think it's pretty cool. It makes me furious though, because here's the thing. So Andor, right?
Yes.
Tony Gilroy, he's the one that's writing it. He has done the Bourne series. Like, he wrote those. He directed the Bourne Legacy. He's pretty good at that type of film, the spy genre, the espionage type thing. That's his thing. He also came in, I think, at the last minute to fix up Rogue One. And I honestly think his tone is definitely what I want for Star Wars. He is going to make it a little Trumpian. Like, they're going to make, everybody has to do the Trump thing, even though I don't know if it's as relevant as it was after he was in office, but everybody has to have an answer for Trump. That's what, hey, it is what it is. Creative space. That's what you want to do. Fine.
Yep.
What got me mad is that the trailer looks fucking beautiful. Like, it looks like an actual film. It looks, they have real sets, and it just makes like, if you compare it to the Obi-Wan series, it makes the Obi-Wan series look like they shot it in a basement.
Oof.
And this is my issue. Obi-Wan is a big character, a big legacy character from the originals, right? Famous, one of the favorite characters of all time. You're not gonna do something a little bit better with Obi-Wan. I mean, the production value in Obi-Wan wasn't the best.
Nope.
It really wasn't. It looked cheap.
It did.
So you looking at Andor looks like they spent money on it. That's my issue. And I think it'll get worse.
Do you think, because the last two Star Wars was Boba Fett and Obi-Wan. Those last two shows, I was severely disappointed for them to make shows about iconic Star Wars characters. I don't blame anybody that was involved with like acting or whatever. I blame the writers and the directors for this, because they destroyed all hope for me when it comes to like watching Star Wars shows. I believe that they fumbled really heavily with making a good PTSD Obi-Wan Kenobi trying to survive on Tatooine. I believe they fumbled it when they made Boba Fett King of the Bounty Hunters. King of the Underworld. They fumbled that. Like, oh, Jesus freaking Christ. I remember watching at the end of Mandalorian season 2, and I saw Boba Fett will be back, the book of Boba Fett. My eye was geeking like a freaking 5-year-old.
I thought they're like, hey man, they're turning this around. And then I saw it and I was like, oh my God, this is awful.
I saw it. I was like, is this basically like I'm going for sex and I get blue balled the entire time? I'm like, what was the point of me even investing in this? Like, what? Okay, I remember
you didn't like the multicolored mopeds.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
You didn't like that?
So I'm not even joking to you when I say this to you. I watched that episode when I was high, and I looked at those scooters. I was laughing for a good 10 minutes because I thought that was an illusion. I thought that was me like tripping out. But then I was sober when I watched it again. I was like, oh, that was real. Awful. Oh my fucking God. And I remember me and you talked about this years ago about the concept of an Obi-Wan movie or series or whatever. And me and you talked about the PTSD that Obi-Wan would have after the wars, after Anakin and blah, blah, blah. Right. We talked about that for hours. So I know for you, when you saw this show, you were severely disappointed in what they did with the storyline of Obi-Wan Kenobi and fucking Darth Vader hunting Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Well, I'll tell you what. Do you know what was the part that killed Obi-Wan for me? The first episode happens. I'm like, okay, cool. It's Obi-Wan. They're using Leia for him to get out again. It's not totally against canon, but it is what it is. It'll do.
Yeah.
Second episode, it's basically John Wick and Breaking Bad, and you know, so it's so okay, fine, whatever. Yep. Whatever. At least they're not copying the original trilogy again for the 13th time.
Right.
Then the third episode happens, and Leia is basically like pulling him through Obi-Wan has become an inactive patron of his own story.
Yep.
He's being pulled along with Leia. Leia is the only one who's active, making decisions. There's a cover story that they made up. Like, this is Luma, we're, farmers or whatever. Obi-Wan says Leia's name and then completely blows his cover.
Yep.
Now, Obi-Wan is a Jedi Master, general, spy. Like, he's been in all these missions, and you're telling me that this guy would blow his own cover? Why? Because he's sad? Because he's what do the Star Wars stand tell me? Like, they every time I complain about this, they're like, but Obi-Wan is sad. Like, he's he's rusty. He hasn't.
Shut up.
No.
Shut up.
It's not that. It's bad writing. Could you just point it out for what it is? I had to, because I was a prequel defender.
Yes.
And I had to eat a lot of crow. Like, yeah, maybe Attack of the Clones wasn't a good Star Wars movie, okay? Or a good movie. So whatever.
How do you when I was not a fan of the Inquisitors being in this movie. Sorry, in the show, because I just
They're
like
the
I
worst. They're
it did
awful.
not make sense. So anybody who watched like Rebels, the Grand Inquisitor is a badass. So when I
Mhm.
saw him get killed off, I'm like, I literally looked at the screen and I went, "What the? What is what?" Like I was mind boggled, and you can't. Okay, here's where I really, really got upset, and this is where
Yeah.
my girlfriend asked me why I was so mad the next day because I saw this Grand Inquisitor come back from the dead from a lightsaber stab to the stomach, and he stabs he stabs Riva. I
Yeah.
think okay, Riva's done. This I don't want to say the B word because it's not the actress, it's the fucking writing. Okay,
Right. Right.
this woman lives through a lightsaber stab for more than 24 hours. Like she lives through it twice.
That's her second time. Yeah.
Like I can't for Star Wars fans out there, she lives through a lightsaber stab twice. Anakin Skywalker passed out from getting his arm chopped off. What the fuck would
Now you
Riva?
see.
Oh my god.
Now let me point this out. Let me point this out. I was this mad when I like how mad you are right now. I was
Mm-hmm.
that mad. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, of all the complaints that I've seen online,
Mm-hmm.
it basically shares our issues with it.
Yes.
Riva's race or gender or involvement of any kind,
Yeah.
her identity had nothing to do with it.
Nothing. Nothing.
Even her acting skills didn't have anything to do with how bad
No.
these decisions are. Because she's actually pretty good in the last episode, even though
Yes.
her storyline is awful.
Yep.
It's not. It has nothing to do with her race or the fact that it's not has nothing to do
I don't give a
with
fuck about her race. I gave a fuck when she said at the end of the episode, yeah, I know who Anakin Skywalker is. I looked at that screen and I went, no, the fuck you don't. Because if you did, you would be dead. You okay, for people who do not understand, Anakin Skywalker only let certain people know that he was Darth Vader. Anybody else
yeah.
who figured it out, he killed them right on the spot. And
And
for
he let her live.
that
There's
what
so many
where did
times.
so let me understand the plot here. So you knew this Inquisitor knew your identity. You knew that she was going to betray you, but you still let her fucking walk and breathe. That is not Darth Vader. Darth Vader has the same punishment mentality as a black mother. Once you fuck up, you're dead. You don't get a second chance. Where does this mentality of, yeah, Darth Vader is just like, he was biding his time, he was waiting. No, he doesn't. Darth Vader is an impatient son of a bitch.
Oh, but it's even worse than that. It's even worse than that.
Oh,
They're in episode 5, which isn't the worst thing I've ever seen, but
no.
there are certain things in there. They're basically trying to they're asking you to buy that Darth Vader was using Riva to get to Obi-Wan,
Oh, Jesus
right?
Christ. Yes.
That was the whole thing. That's why he didn't kill her, you see, because he already knew, because Vader is super smart. But then when you look back in the episode, like,
God.
how exactly would Riva even know? And if Riva knew that she could get Obi-Wan out by using Leia, how come the other Inquisitors didn't know? How come
Oh
Darth
my
Vader
God.
didn't know? How is it? You know what I'm saying? It's
There's so much fucking wrong with that whole fucking show. It just okay. Let me
it's
put
worse
this.
than Boba Fett. It's worse than Boba Fett.
Let me make this clear for everyone who's listening. I do not care about what gender, what race. I do not care. You could make this woman the most purest of people, but if you tell me that this woman lived as long as she did with Vader knowing what she has planned, you You could suck a. Oh my god.
No, but they explained.
Oh.
They explained how she survived like a lightsaber through the gut.
Please tell me how, because I didn't hear it.
Because revenge makes you live longer or something.
Suck my dick. Suck my dick.
That's basically what the. That's
okay.
a piece of it. That the will to live
Oh
is,
my god,
or the will of revenge.
Oh my god.
Makes the will to live stronger or something like that. It's
Jesus Christ.
And I couldn't believe that they put that line in there. I was like, wow, you guys.
The will of revenge and the will to live is the fuck. Oh my.
I'm paraphrasing, by the way. You can go back and you can look at it.
No, I understand. But, okay, listen. The only way, like, I've seen that happen in Star Wars before and it made sense was Darth Maul when he got cut in half and he found a way to live. I didn't like it then, but I grew to understand what they were doing with it because they wanted Darth Maul in Clone Wars. I understood that.
Yeah, they wanted him back. So
whatever. Yeah, so I understood that. I don't forgive it, but he made himself look a lot better in Clone Wars, which I will always love. I'm not mad at that. What I am mad at
here. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It's worse. It's worse here because they wanted the shock of killing a character.
Yes.
They wanted that shock, but they also wanted to stay with canon, so they brought him back.
Yes.
And then you're like, well, why even kill him in the first place? Why not create a character that you could kill? Because
yes,
that doesn't make any sense. But anyways, let's go back to you were talking about Black creatives.
Yes.
Being basically the ones in charge of whatever IP that's going out, because let's just make let's say what facts are facts.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at all of these franchises, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Marvel, even Black Panther, all of these things were created by white men,
right?
Or white people,
white influence.
Yeah, it's all Superman was created by two Jewish guys. Same as Black Panther. He was created by some Jewish guys. So it's, at least I think so. I'm gonna have to fact check that. But I think for diversity to continue and to go further, we're gonna have to, like, even you and me, like creatives in our space, we have to be the ones to be, you know what? If we can't do a Superman movie or a Black Panther movie, we got to create our own.
Yeah.
And there's this guy called Eric July. You never heard of him, have you?
I've heard that name, but I do not know anything about. But I've definitely heard that name before.
All right, look him up. He's actually created his own. He's a big like comic book fan.
Yes.
And he decided to create his own things because he just hated what the major comic book studios have been doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we all kind of, in a way, don't like what they've done with the characters and all that sort of thing. So he's like, I'm not going to support anything. I'm going to put my money together. I'm going to build my brand, and I'm going to start from the ground up.
Right.
So it reminds me of the story of how Indiana Jones got created.
Okay.
Steven Spielberg wanted to make a James Bond movie,
right?
But they wouldn't allow him because he's not British, right?
Right.
So George Lucas came in and he's like, "Fuck all that! I got a better idea." Indiana Smith. A couple of drafts later, it became Indiana Jones, and the rest is history.
Yes.
Because we aren't in these spaces, and because we're not happy with how these things are going.
Right.
We have the power. And I'm talking about us in the creative space, us who like these characters and don't like what's happening with these characters.
Mm-hmm.
We can just be like, okay, well, you're doing that. I'm not going to say I'm boycotting, but I'm going to do my own thing, and I'm going to tell my stories how I think they should go.
Yes.
And I'm not going to be supporting, thank you, She-Hulk, fine, but I'm not going to follow that. I'm not going to support these things that just doesn't interest me.
Right.
I don't agree with a lot of his political stance,
Mhm.
but that's irrelevant. The fact of the matter is, there's a black man who's creating his own stuff because he doesn't like how the industry is going.
Mhm.
So take it as you will. I would
Yes.
give him a shot just to see what's what. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying?
Okay.
And I think there's more. There should be more creatives out there that should do that.
Yes.
So that's sort of my thing on that.